Yes, it's Fellonius Yapping again. And this topic you had coming, right? You know that. We need to talk about rubber. Now, nature-wise, the nature rubber is from trees, and it's the sap, I think, from the trees. And it's not really used that much anymore. And I think its quality-wise is bad. However, it's also expensive. Now, there have been a lot of chemical things changing and doing the same stuff that real rubber does. So, yeah, we'll get back to that later on. Now, the reason I want to talk about rubber is just the quality stuff. I mean, I'm not totally sure if you have seen it, but most elastic things are not that good anymore. I just read on one of the Swedish papers that a car that was bought, it was an old car, I think it was a 2007, but he bought that car from a car dealer. And the car dealer was, well, it wasn't a very good car, it was several wrongs about it. But when he looked at the tires, 2 of the tires was actually 16 years old, and 2 of the other tires was 15 years old. Now, if it were nature rubber, it would be okay, but it isn't, is it? I mean, most of the tires we drive on today are like, well, I don't know, it's more, it's other stuff than real rubber in them. And there's steel rims and all that stuff as well. Now, 15-year-old tires is actually, as he says, it's like driving on tin. Yeah, real metal. And that's not really what that is about. Remember, when it's about a car, each wheel is like one hand touching the road. It's 4 hands on the road. That's all that separates you from flying in the air. Those 4 hands is going to keep you down on the road, even if it's turning, even if it's going downwards. You have to be able to brake, accelerate, and steer. And these 4 hands is going to make sure that you are staying on the road. And somehow I feel like before the Second World War, we had tires that actually were real rubber tires. They were real rubber in them, and it also feels like they were bigger, better, and wider. Now, I'm not totally sure about this because I haven't checked it and I've done no research. But when the rubber became more and more expensive, and we are probably also pulling down a lot of rubber trees, it suddenly became more and more of an oil product, like elastan or, well, some polyamide as well. And that is not really that adhesive material like rubber really are. I mean, I'm not totally sure if anyone has tried this, but I was very fond of raw rubber soles on my shoes. It has no bearing on running or anything. It was just soft to walk on. I really liked those shoes, but they were totally impossible to dance in. You have to lift your feet in a very strange manner. You couldn't slide or anything. You couldn't do it real dancing. So I had to buy myself some really, smooth dancing shoes in order to keep on doing that. That is a while ago. How about today? Well, today I go around in plastic soles. Well, at least that's what I think I have. It doesn't feel like we are using rubber to walk on anymore. And we don't ride our cars on them either. What are we using real rubber for? Not much. If we're looking on the internet, we don't see much at all. There are some for tires, yes. and it's not that much. Let's see if I can find anything that is. It's latex, of course. It's called. No, it doesn't seem much. 42% is nature nature rubber. The rest is made with petroleum. That's not bad. Now, in some there is an urban legend, at least, that in some countries they don't even have that much rubber either. Like in Russia, there is one urban legend about Russian mechanics that actually steal your wheels when you turn the car in. There was some guy, according to the urban legend, who left his car with a car mechanic, and when he came back to fetch his car again, the wheels were gone. And when he accused the car mechanic about this and said, "Well, where's my tires? You came with it like that." And that's a funny one, I think. Now, do we want more rubber in our world? I think so. Most fun things that I've seen, like stretchy things or jumping things, or do you remember those bouncy balls we had that could super bounce high? You can almost hit an aircraft with them. I like those ones. Have you tried to play ping pong with one? It's not easy, I can tell you that. I really like that. And a real eraser, a real erasing rubber should be much better than those plastic ones that we are using today. Or perhaps we don't, because we are not using any pens anymore. So, pencils, I mean, and you don't need a rubber eraser then, I suspect. Perhaps this is what's happening out in our world. Well, there are some latest things that we need, and there are some things we don't need. I miss most of my toys that had real rubber wheels on them, not those plastic things that came in the early 70s. Rubber. Will our grandchildren know what rubber is? Well, you can ask that about several things that we have these days. Yep. Thanks for listening. Bye.